Namaste, everybody, and happy Monday on this beautiful 2524. We woke up to crazy thunderstorms this morning, and I thought, oh, it's a great time to sit down and make a video. So yes, happy Monday. I really wanted to step on today because I was kind of moving through everything that I had talked about yesterday at my service. Yesterday's topic was about pain and about the pain body and moving through pain, whether it be grief, no matter what it is, whether it's physical pain, spiritual pain, emotional pain, mental, all of that is energy. Everything is energy. So, stepping into that yesterday really got me to that place of addressing actually Michael Singer's book, which if you haven't read it, it is fantastic, The Untethered Soul. And Michael has a great chapter on processing pain. And I speak from my own experience. Many of you do know my story. Some don't know my story. I did bury my child a few years ago. And so I myself did walk through the valley of death during that time. But I also didn't run from the pain. I actually ran into the pain. I ran towards the pain because subconsciously, deep down, even though I did not want to be here, deep down, I knew, somewhere inside of me knew that the only way was to run towards it. So sitting in it, feeling it, allowing it, and knowing that this was the worst it could possibly get, even though in my mind, that was every single moment during that time, the worst that it could get. And every time again, this is the worst that it could get. But I also knew I had to sit in it. I didn't know the reason. I didn't know why my daughter decided to leave. I didn't know the reason why I would become a mother and then, in essence, say goodbye to my child, even though I'm full contact with her now on the other side. But all of the not knowing and the trying to figure out and the not understanding, it's all part of it. It's part of that pain ball. It's all wrapped up together. And in it, when you don't know, it's because you're not supposed to know when you're in it. But by looking away and pretending it's not there, you're feeding it, you're giving power to it. It's like being in the bedroom and in your closet, you're scared that there's a monster in the closet as a kid. So you deliberately never open the closet and you lie there and you're terrified. You're actually feeding that energy. You're giving energy to it because what it's doing is it's creating a fear field around what's inside that closet. So, like anything, when you believe that fear exists, you start to actually build defense of it. And that appears in your universal field. But understanding that there's actually nothing to fear because you never die. You never die. You transcend into a different form. You step out of this body and you step back into your astral body. Therefore, if death is the worst thing and that doesn't exist, then what is there to fear? There's actually nothing. That's why many books, The Alchemist, all these books they have written about, the whole point of us being here is to get to that place on the journey when you stare fear in the face. And the minute you say, you have no power over me, the fear begins to dissolve. It's the same, that great movie, which has so many little symbols in it, The Wizard of Oz. She realizes everything was inside of her at the end. She did this whole journey thinking everything was outside of herself. The straw man that had the biggest love looking for a heart, the lion that was so courageous but didn't think he was, all of it was telling them everything we need and have is right here. It's not outside of ourselves, it's right here. And so I don't know why a little thumb came up on my Zoom, but a little thumb came up on my Zoom. But I guess that was a little God wink from the universe saying, yes, you're right on, Natalie, keep going. But when we create that fear, we're building a field around it. So think of as you build that field, you're building the wall and you're powering the wall. That's why when you realize, wait a minute, this is just energy and it doesn't actually exist. You open the closet and you go, I'm going to sleep with the closet door open tonight. And I'm going to put a little candle in there. And I'm going to put some flowers in there. And I'm going to say, it's okay. I don't have to be afraid anymore. It's the same thing with pain. When pain enters the body, even if you get that diagnosis, it doesn't matter what it is. If you've got a heartbreak, you have to feel it. You have to feel it first. And then you keep on walking. You walk towards it and you keep on moving through. I told a story yesterday of the first time that I decided to go to the gym again after my daughter's funeral. And I couldn't even fathom getting out of bed, never mind going to the gym. Because to me, at that point, it was like, there is no purpose. There's no purpose. There's no purpose in me being here. Why am I here? And my daughter is not. Like, I couldn't fathom living another day without her. And so I said, and I always loved running. I loved working out. And I was like, I'm going to get back to the gym. I remember getting my trainers and putting my trainers on and tying my laces, and I could hear the voices. What are you doing this for? This is crazy. Like, God took her and all of that stuff. Talking, talking, talking. And I just kept tying. I tied the laces. I put on my gym stuff. I got in the car, the noisies, noisies, noisies. I get in the car. I drive, still listening to them. I get to the gym. I get on the treadmill. And I start on the treadmill and I slowly start to run. Again, thinking, what am I even doing? Who cares? Who cares if I'm fit? Who cares? My child's dead. That's all I could think of. The pain was so big, but it was running me. It was running me because I was so terrified of everything surrounding this, even having to accept that my perfect, beautiful child was now 6 feet under in a coffin. Having to accept that, there was no way I could have done that. It was too much to fathom. So, and again, I'm in the pain, but I'm not really in the depths of it yet. I'm in survival mode. So I get on the treadmill and I start running, and the noisies, noisies, noisies. And as I'm running, I can feel the emotion start. I can feel all of it just starting, and everything wanting me to run to a corner, curl in a corner, and just let it out. And I thought, absolutely not. No, I'm going to feel it right here on this treadmill. I'm going to feel it. And as I'm running, the emotion started to rise and I just broke down. I started wailing, wailing. Now, I'm in LA Fitness in Los Angeles. So there's tons of people in that gym. And they all begin to look because I'm the girl that's like dry heaving on the treadmill and I'm just wailing as I'm running. But I kept on running. I kept crying. I didn't care. I don't care what people think of me. I don't care. What people think of me is none of my business. I just kept running and I'm sobbing and I kept on running. And then after it had all come out, it starts to kind of subside. It starts to get a little more gentle and a little more gentle. And before I know it, kind of a calm begins to set over me. And I keep on running and I keep on running. And then I finish the run. And then I hit stop and then I get off. And there's a calm about me. And then I get to the car and I drive home and I park outside my house and I get out and I look up to God because I was angry at God at this time. I look up to God and I said, today I won. I won. And it wasn't until quite a time after that when I looked back and I thought, I didn't win. I actually ran into it so that I could keep on running through it. Because there is no winning and losing. There just is. It just is. And I know at that time it felt like a battle. Everything was a struggle. Everything was a fight. Everything. Because I felt like I was standing on an island and nobody could hear me. Nobody could see me. No one understood the pain that I was in. No one. And I was angry at that. I was angry that no one knew. And I felt like this was the worst pain that anybody could ever go through. But I was in it. But the biggest thing about that day on the treadmill was I didn't run from it. I ran towards it. I ran into it. And I kept on going until all of that had released. And then I ended the run. So knowing that when pain is there, you don't run away from it and not face it. You step into it. You run into it. You walk towards it. Because as soon as you get in it and you start to move through it, you begin to realize, much like Dorothy Gale in The Wizard of Oz, you have no power over me. You have no power over me. But it's moving into it that gets you to that point. Michael Singer in The Untethered Soul says, It is because deep inside there is pain that you have not processed. Your attempt to avoid this pain begins to create layer upon layer of sensitivities that are all linked to the hidden pain. So for me, everything, I lost so many people in my life during that time because people can't stick around. You know, the woman with the dead child, people can't stick around. That's very hard. So that the hurt that I was going through on a whole other level of not hearing from people and people disappearing and just everything, people going on acting like life was still going on. I was like, how can you think that life is still going on? My child's dead. Like, what? All of that was layers upon layers of and it wasn't hidden. I knew what the pain was, but at the time, all of this was feeding me because I hadn't yet ran into the pain. And that day on the treadmill, I did. And I ran right through it. Michael Singer says, on the other side of pain is ecstasy. On the other side is freedom. Your true greatness hides on the other side of that layer of pain. You must be willing to accept the pain in order to pass through to the other side. No matter what you are going through in this moment, no matter what you are feeling, whether you think you're the only one in it, I can promise you, there are millions moving through their own pain, feeling the same thing. And my advice, my message to you today, my guidance to you today is step into it, but keep on walking. Tie your shoelaces, get on the treadmill, feel it all, and continue to run. Because on the other side, I can tell you from experience, there is freedom and there is ecstasy and there is bliss. Everything is energy and it moves through you as you move through the experience of it. I'm holding all of you today that's moving through any kind of pain. I'm holding all of you today that's moving through any ailments, no matter what they are, in any way, shape, or form. And I'm telling you, keep on running. You have got this. There is hope. There is always hope. I love you all. Thank you for joining me today, and namaste.